The sun rose over the broken city of Yellari, casting a golden light on the black stone towers and damaged streets. The war was over, but the cost had been high. Queen Zalith was gone. The royal palace was scarred from the fight. Smoke still rose. From a few buildings, yet something new filled the air. Hope Princess Thelia stood on the high balcony of the palace. Below, thousands of Thalkar, civilians, warriors, even former rebels, gathered in silence. Darren Cole stood beside her, wearing clean clothes given to him by the royal staff. He had washed off the blood and dust, but the memories were still fresh in his mind. He looked at Thelia. "You ready?" he asked. She nodded. "I must be." Trumpets played a strange but beautiful melody. The wind carried the sound across the city. The crowd stood still as Thelia stepped forward. She raised both hands, and the crowd lowered their heads in respect. "I speak not as a ruler today," she said, her voice calm and strong, "but as a daughter, as a fighter, as one of you." She paused. "My mother gave her life to save Yellari. She believed in unity, in peace, in a future where we don't have to fear each other. I believe in that too," the crowd murmured, watching her closely. "I am Thalkar, and I am part human." Thelia said, "I will not hide it. I will not be ashamed. I will be proud." Her voice grew louder. "If anyone wishes to live in hate, leave. But if you want to build a new Yellari, then stand with me. Let us rise. Together." The silence lasted for a moment. Then someone in the crowd raised a hand and shouted, "All hail Thelia!" The others followed. "All hail Thelia, heir of fire and sky." Later that day, Thelia met with her council. These were old leaders, warriors, scientists, and new faces from the younger generation. Darren sat quietly in the corner. He was not part of the council, but Thelia had insisted he be present. "The people support you," said one elder. "There is fear. The Vernix may return." Thelia nodded. "Then we must be ready." "We need engineers," said a general. "Our shields are broken. Our weapons are damaged." All eyes turned to Darren. He stood slowly. "I can help. Earth has technology. We can bring support. But you'll need to accept humans, not as enemies, but as allies." The room was silent. Then Thelia smiled. "Then that is my first order." She stood up and faced the council. "From this day on, Yellari will no longer be closed. We will open our skies. We will build a bridge between Earth and Thalkar." Some murmured in surprise. "Impossible," one elder said. "Too dangerous." "No," Thelia replied. "Not dangerous." "Necessary?" She looked at Darren. "Would the humans listen?" Darren thought for a moment. "Some will. Some won't. But if they see what I've seen, how strong, how brave, how human your people can be, they will come." Days passed. Repairs began across the city. Broken towers were rebuilt. Streets were cleaned. People returned to their homes. The Queen's statue was placed in the main square. Her face was carved in silver stone. Beside her, another statue was being built, of Thelia. With one hand raised toward the sky, Darren walked through the busy streets. Children ran past him. Vendors called out to sell food. Laughter returned. He smiled. A voice called from behind, "You look different in daylight." He turned. Thelia stood there in simple clothes. No armor, no crown. Almost didn't recognize. "You," Darren joked. She laughed. "I needed fresh air." They walked side by side through the city. "Are you staying?" she asked. Darren hesitated. "I don't know. I came here to fix a machine. Ended up helping start a revolution." She nodded. "You also saved me." "Twice." He smiled. "And you saved me too." They stopped at a small garden. Flowers grew. Where a bomb had fallen days ago, Thelia looked at him. "I want you to stay, not as a guest, but as a part of Yellari's future." Darren looked at her carefully. "What would I do here?" "Help lead," she said. "Help rebuild. Teach. Learn. You understand both worlds." He looked down at the flowers. All right, he said. But I'll need a workshop. She laughed. You'll have the best one. A month later, a human ship arrived in orbit. It carried diplomats, engineers, and scientists. They were welcomed, not with fear, but celebration. The first human Thalkar tech lab opened near the capital. Darren was named Chief Advisor of Integration. His job? Connect both worlds, protect the peace, and prepare for anything that might come next. But peace never lasts forever. One night, a message arrived on a secure channel. Darren opened it in his lab. Warning, Vernex activity detected near neutral zones, unknown ships, possible survivors. He stared at the screen. Then he stood up and walked to Thelia's chamber. She was looking at star charts. You got the message too? She asked. He nodded. They're not done with us. She turned to him. Then we must be ready together. He looked into her violet eyes. We always were. Stars above Yellari were quiet for now, but not forever. Enemies might return. Danger would rise again. But this time, Yellari was not alone. At its heart stood a young queen who once hated her, human side. And beside her stood a human who once came as a stranger. Together, they had changed everything, and together they would face whatever came next. The sky above planet Yellari was a strange mix of dark green and glowing blue. Darren Cole, a human engineer from Earth, stepped out of the shuttle. His boots touched the cracked, dry ground. He looked around at the tall black towers, the distant, shining mountains, and the guards with insect-like armor standing still like statues. He had read about the Thalkar Empire before coming here. They were insectoid, alien-stall, armored, and silent. Humans had fought them in a long war that ended only 5 years ago. Now there was peace, but not trust. Darren had been sent by the Human Alliance to help repair Yellari's atmospheric shield. Without the shield, their planet would die. And if Yellari fell, so would the fragile peace between the two species. A tall female Thalkar guard stepped forward. Her exoskeleton was purple and gold, and her voice was sharp and buzzing. You are Engineer Darren Cole, she asked. Yes, he replied calmly. I'm here to help. You will follow. The Queen waits. The palace was made of smooth, black stone and glowing crystal walls. Darren walked through long halls that smelled like metal and flowers. Strange paintings lined the walls, images of Thalkar warriors, old battles, and one large portrait of a younger alien girl with bright violet eyes. He was brought to a wide chamber where the queen waited on a high throne. Queen Zalith was tall and powerful looking. Her wings were folded behind her back. Her black eyes watched Darren closely. He bowed slightly. Your Majesty.
The queen nodded.
Human, we meet not as enemies, but out of desperation. I've seen the shield's diagnostics, Darren said. It's decaying. You're losing 10% coverage every month. We know, the queen replied. And yet that is not why I summoned you. Darren frowned. Then why am I here? She stood up slowly and walked down the stairs from her throne. The guard stepped back. The room became quiet. My daughter, she said, my only heir. She is dying. Darren blinked.
I'm sorry.
Your Majesty? But I'm not a doctor. No, you are something more rare, she said. You are human. He was confused. What does that have to do with anything? She is infected with a virus, the queen said. Her voice softened. For the first time, a virus left behind from the war, a weapon created by human scientists. Before peace, Darren took a step back. I didn't have anything to do with the war. I was just a teenager back then. I do not blame you, the queen said. But your blood may be the key. Darren stared at her.
Hey, what do you mean?
Her body rejects all known treatments. But she is half human. What? Darren's eyes widened. You mean she's part? Yes, the queen said firmly. Her father was a human soldier, captured long ago. He was brave. He died protecting me. Darren was shocked. The war records never said anything about that. I kept her hidden, the queen said. To protect her from my enemies? But now she is sick, dying, and no Thalkar blood can save her. Only you can. Darren felt his mouth go dry. You want me to give her my blood, if there's any chance? Yes, the Queen said. Please, I beg you, human. Those words, I beg you, coming from a proud alien queen, were heavy. Darren looked into her eyes and saw something no machine could measure. Fear. He slowly nodded. I'll see what I can do. The Royal Medical Wing was silent. Darren was brought to a room covered in green light and warm mist. Machines buzzed quietly. At the center, a bed held a girl maybe in her late teens, by human guess. Her skin was pale purple. Thin, insect-like plates covered parts of her body, but her face was smooth, almost human. She had violet eyes. They were full of fire. She looked at Darren and scowled. You're the human, she said weakly. Yes, he said, walking closer. I'm here to help. I don't need help from you, she hissed. Your kind made me this way. Darren stopped. I didn't come to argue, then leave, she whispered. Let me die. He looked at the monitor. Her heart rate was unstable. Her blood cells were breaking down. You're half human, he said gently. Your body is fighting the virus, but it can't win. Not without help. I might have the answer inside me. She looked away. Then that makes me weak. No, Darren said firmly. That makes you alive. With permission from the Queen, Darren was allowed to begin. The palace medics took samples of his blood and compared them to the princess's cells. Hours passed. Darren worked with machines, made notes, and calculated the best chance of success. He didn't sleep that night. The virus was complicated. It changed shape. It adapted fast. But something in Darren's immune system recognized it and attacked it. Interesting, said one of the Thalkar doctors. Your body has ancient war markers. It remembers the virus. It fights well. Can make an immune bridge, Darren said. My blood, mixed with certain proteins from her system. Maybe it'll help her body learn to fight too. You are clever, the doctor admitted. Darren didn't care about praise, just wanted to save the girl. Not because she was a princess, not because the Queen asked, but because she was. Young, angry, and afraid, and she didn't deserve to die because of a war she never started. That evening, Darren returned to the princess's room. She was awake, watching him. You didn't run, she said quietly. No, he replied. You look tired. I am. There was silence. I don't want to be part human, she said. Everyone looks at me like I'm broken. You're not broken, Darren said. You're rare. Stronger than both sides. She closed her eyes. I don't want to die, you won't, he said. I promise. The first injection was ready. A mix of Darren's blood and custom antibodies. If it worked, her body would start to heal. If not. Darren stood by as the medics carefully placed the injector on her arm. She looked at him, then nodded. The needle entered. Seconds passed. Then her body started to shake. Her eyes rolled back. The medics rushed in. She's going into shock? No. Her body is rejecting it. Darren stepped forward. Wait, give her time. Her cells are reacting, fighting back. The machines beeped faster. Lights flashed red. Her skin glowed faintly. Then, the beeping slowed. Her breathing calmed. The medics looked up. She's stabilizing. Darren exhaled. It's working. Looked at the princess. Her eyes were open. She stared at him, confused, but alive. You didn't lie, she said softly. No, Darren replied. I meant what I said. But before anyone could celebrate, a loud alarm rang across the palace. An explosion echoed in the distance. One of the guards shouted, Attackers! Intruders inside the royal walls. The Queen's voice came through the speaker. Protect the heir. The rebels are here. They want her dead. Darren turned to the princess. We need to get out of here now. Smoke filled the hallways. The floor shook as another blast hit the palace walls. Darren Cole grabbed the princess's hand and pulled her away from the medical bed. "We have to move," he shouted. Princess Thalia stumbled, still weak but alive. Her body was sweating and her legs trembled, but she followed him. The lab behind them flickered in red emergency lights. Guards ran past the door with weapons raised. Screams echoed through the corridors. The Queen's voice repeated over the speaker, "Protect the air at all costs." Darren didn't understand much about Thalkar politics, but it was clear now someone wanted Thalia dead. Someone powerful. A female guard appeared from the shadows. Her armor was cracked, but she stood strong. Her name was Captain Viren, head of the Queen's Royal Guard. "Human," she shouted, "follow me. We must reach the sky tunnels."
Act!
Darren helped Thalia walk. "What's happening?" a rebel forces Viren growled. "They believe the Queen has betrayed the old ways by keeping a half-human child alive. They want her gone." Now, Darren felt anger rise in his chest. "Then they'll have to go through me." Viren looked surprised for a moment but nodded in respect. They moved fast through a narrow side passage. The walls shook again. Dust fell from the ceiling. Behind them, the sound of heavy steps followed more rebels. Darren kept Thalia close. She was quiet, breathing hard, her eyes darting around. He could see the fear in her. "You okay?" I asked softly. "I don't know," she whispered. "I feel ... different. Stronger, but weak too." "The treatment is working," he said. "Just hold on, we'll get you out." They reached a sealed stone wall with ancient symbols glowing blue. Viren placed her hand on a panel. The wall opened with a low hum. Inside was a narrow tunnel, going downward, lit by pale green crystals. "These are the sky caverns," Viren said. "Old tunnels used during the war.
Ow.
They lead out beneath the mountains."
Ow.
Darren helped Thalia step inside. "How far?" Viren said. "But safer than the palace?" They began to move. The air was cooler here, and the walls were covered with strange glowing vines. Insects crawled across the stones, watching silently. As they walked deeper, Thalia finally spoke. "Why are you helping me?" she asked Darren. He looked at her. "Because I can." That's not an answer, he thought for a moment. "You didn't choose to be half-human. You didn't start the war. And I don't like seeing people suffer when I can do something about it." She stared at him for a moment, then looked away. "You're strange." "I've been called worse," Darren said with a small smile. Hours passed in the tunnels. They stopped to rest beside a glowing pool. Viren stood guard while Darren checked Thalia's vitals with a portable scanner. "Your numbers look better," he said. "You'll feel stronger soon." Thalia looked at her reflection in the water. "Do you think I look human?" Darren sat beside her. "You look like you..." She didn't smile, but her expression softened. "My people hate humans. They blame your kind for everything." "I used to believe that too. And now?" he asked. "I don't know anymore," she whispered. "You saved me. That's hard to hate." Darren leaned back against the stone. "Hate is easy. Understanding is harder." They sat in silence. Then Viren stepped forward, alert. "We're not alone." From the shadows ahead, movement, a soft clicking sound, then red eyes. 3 figures appeared. Thotkar rebels. Their armor was painted black and red, their weapons long and sharp. One pointed at Thalia. "The half-breed must die." Viren raised her spear. "You'll have to fight me first." Darren stood up. He had no weapon, but he had tools. Quickly activated his small plasma cutter and stood beside Viren. "I'm not leaving her," he said. The rebels attacked. The first swung his blade, but Viren blocked it. Sparks flew. Darren ducked a second strike and slashed the attacker's leg with the plasma tool. The rebel screamed and fell. The third aimed a dart gun at Thalia, but she reacted fast. Her arm, now stronger, lashed out and knocked the weapon from his hand, and she kicked him backward into the water. Viren finished the last rebel with a quick spin and slash. Silence returned. Darren breathed hard. "Well, that was fun." Thalia looked at her hands. "I fought. I didn't freeze." "You're healing," Darren said. They are stronger than they know. Byron nodded. We must move. Right, more will come. They finally reached a hidden chamber deep in the mountain. Ancient machines lined the walls. Human technology. Darren stared in awe. This is a lab, he said. A human science lab. From the war. Thelia looked around. My mother said my father built this place to protect me. Byron activated the systems. Lights blinked on. Old human logs appeared on the screens. Darren moved quickly, reading data. He found files from a scientist named Dr. Elias Cole, his own uncle. My family was here, Darren whispered. They tried to help. Even back then, Thelia stepped beside him. Can this place help us? Yes, he said. I can finish the treatment here, improve it. Make sure you survive. Never fall sick again. Byron sealed the doors. I will guard you. Finish your work. Darren worked through the night. He used samples of Thelia's blood and his own. He built a new serum, stronger, safer. This version could make her fully immune. As he finished, he looked over at Thelia, who was resting. He quietly sat beside her. You're doing great, he said softly. She opened her eyes slowly. I feel warm, that's the healing. I dreamt of fire, she said, and flying. You'll fly again soon, he promised. He helped her sit up. Are you ready? She nodded. The injection was smoother this time. Her body accepted it. Her eyes glowed slightly, but she stayed. Calm then, without warning, arms began to ring. A voice echoed through the lab. Intruders detected. External breach. Byron ran to the door. They found us. Thelia stood on her own now. Then we fight, no, Darren said. We escape. Pulled up a map on the old screen. There's a tunnel leading. To the surface, it opens far outside the city. If we reach it, we can signal the Queen. Talia placed a hand on his shoulder. Thank you, Darren. I never thought I'd say this. But I'm glad you're here. I'm not leaving until you're safe, he said. They ran again, deeper into the tunnel. But behind them, in the shadows, someone watched through red cybernetic eyes. A tall Thalkar in dark armor whispered into a communicator. She is alive. And stronger. The prophecy may be true. The voice on the other end replied, Good. Let her run. Soon the real war begins. The tunnel was dark ahead, but Darren Cole kept moving. His footsteps echoed through the stone walls. Beside him, Princess Thelia walked faster than before. Her body was still healing, but she was no longer weak. Behind them, Captain Byron scanned. The path with her glowing spear. The air was tight, filled with the scent of dust and old machines. The escape door is closed, Darren said. It leads out to the mountain cliffs. From there, we can contact the Queen. Unless the rebels get there first, Byron warned. Thelia didn't speak. She had changed. Her steps were stronger. Her eyes were sharper. Her back was straighter. The second serum had finished the job. She was fully alive, now fully awake, but the silence in the tunnel was dangerous. It was too quiet. Suddenly the floor shook. A deep rumble echoed through the walls. Another explosion, Darren asked. Viren raised a hand. No, something else. Then came the sound-clicking legs. Metal feet.
Oh.
Breathing machines. From the shadows, shapes moved. Not rebels, not Thalkar. Darren stepped back. What are those? 3 tall figures appeared covered in metal armor, with glowing red eyes. Their skin looked like iron. Their arms had blades. Their voices were robotic. Target located. Halt or be terminated. Vernix Viron shouted. They are not Thalkar. They are off-world invaders. Thelia's eyes narrowed. The rebels made a deal with outsiders. Darren grabbed his plasma cutter. Time to run, but the machines opened fire. Red beams shot across the tunnel. Rocks exploded beside them. Move. Viren screamed. They ran through the side passage. The tunnel split into 2. Darren looked at the map on his wrist. Left. This way. They dashed down the narrow tunnel. Ceiling began to crack. Dust fell. The machines followed. They, after you? Darren asked Thalia as they ran. She answered without turning her head. I'm the heir. If I die, the queen loses power. The rebels win. And if they win, the Vernex take the planet. So it's not just about you anymore, Darren said. It's about all of Yellari. They reached a wide chamber lit by glowing blue crystals. It was a natural cave, with deep pits and high bridges. This is the Sky Cavern, Viren said. We must cross it to reach the surface door. Darren looked at the bridge ahead, thin and shaking above a black pit. I really don't like heights, he muttered. Suddenly a voice echoed from the dark side of the cavern. Well, the half-breed walks again. A tall Thalkar stepped forward from the shadows. His armor was blood-red, and his eyes glowed with pride and hatred. Uncle Thalia whispered. It was Lord Kelthur, the queen's own brother. A known war hero. And now, the leader of the rebellion? You should be dead, Thalia, Kelthur said. Your birth was a mistake. Your survival is a threat. And yet here I am, she said coldly. You bring shame to our name. Kelthur continued. Human blood runs in your veins. You'll never rule the Thalkar. Darren stepped forward. Then you'll have to go through me first. Kelthor laughed. A human defends our heir? How pathetic. He raised a hand, and behind him, more Vernex machines stepped into view. I have made a deal, Kelthor said. The Vernex will help us cleanse this world. In return, they get what they want. Yulari's core energy, you're selling. Your planet, Thalia growled. I'm saving it from weakness, he shouted. Then without warning, Kelthar pointed forward. Tell them. The machines charged. Viren held the front with her spear, blocking the first attacker. Sparks flew. Darren and Thalia crossed the thin bridge as fast as they could. Behind them, the floor began to crack. I'll slow them down, Viren said. Go! No! Thalia shouted. I need you. You need to survive, my princess, Viren said firmly. Go! She threw a small energy bomb behind them and jumped into the fight. The explosion rocked the cavern. The bridge shook hard. Darren lost balance, but Thalia caught his arm and pulled him across. They reached the other side. Darren hit a control panel beside a stone door. Come on, open. Open. The door creaked and slid open just as the machines reached the edge. Thalia turned back one last time. Irune was still fighting, but she was surrounded. Then the door slammed shut. They climbed a long spiral path inside a stone tower. At the top was a small platform that opened to the sky. The air was fresh. Wind blew across their faces. The sky above was full of stars and warships. Darren pulled out a small beacon and activated it. A signal went out coded. Direct to the Queen's command ship. They'll come soon, Darren said. We just have to wait. Thalia walked to the edge of the platform. She looked out at her planet. Smoke rose from the palace in the distance. Energy beams flew through the sky. Our people are dying, she whispered. Darren stood beside her. And they need a leader. She turned to him. I've never ruled. I've never even spoken in public. I was hidden all my life. But you're here now, Darren said. And you're stronger than anyone I've ever met. Thalia looked into his eyes. You're not like other humans. I get that a lot, he smiled. A soft hum filled the air. A shuttle appeared from the clouds, shaped like a golden flower. It landed gently. The door opened. Dan Queen Zalith stepped out, surrounded by royal guards. Thalia ran to her mother. They embraced tightly. The queen looked at Darren. You saved her. Helped, Darren said. She saved herself. The queen nodded with respect, and now it is time for her to rise. Back in the queen's command ship, they flew over the planet. Below, chaos reigned. The rebels and Vernex forces had taken half the capital, but a message was sent from the royal ship. A public broadcast every screen. Every crystal, every tower across Yellari showed a single image. Princess Thalia. Standing tall beside her mother and the human who saved her, she spoke clearly. I am the daughter of Queen Zalith. And a human warrior? I am half Thalkar, half human, and fully yours. The people listened. She continued. My blood may be mixed, but my heart is pure. Do not seek power for myself, but peace for all. I will not let rebels destroy our home, and I will not let machines rule our skies. She raised a hand. I ask you, Thalkar, of every city, rise with me, not for a crown, but for your future. Our future, united. The queen placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder. All hail the true heir. In the rebel stronghold, Kelthar watched the broadcast with a twisted smile. So, she speaks, he said. Beside him, a tall Vernex commander turned. Shall we destroy the ship? Kelthar's smile faded. Let the people believe then. Crush their hope. He turned to his soldiers. Prepare the final attack. The warship shook as enemy fire struck the shields. Red lights flashed inside the command room. Queen Zalith stood beside her daughter Thelia and the human engineer, Darren Cole. Shields are holding. For now, said a guard. Not for long. Zalith replied. She looked at her daughter. You gave them hope, Thelia. Now we must give them victory. Thelia was quiet, staring at the battle unfolding below. Her face was calm, but her mind was full of fire. She had never led anyone before, but now she was a symbol. Her people believed in her. I'm ready, she finally said. Darren looked at her. You sure? Yes, she replied. For Yellary. I must be. Outside, the capital city burned. The rebels had taken over many towers. Vernex machines walked the streets, cold and silent. Thalkar civilians were trapped inside homes, too afraid to move, but slowly. Something began to change. From small villages, from mining colonies, from distant forests, the Queen's loyal warriors began to rise. Old banners flew. Hidden weapons came out. Civilians joined the fight. The broadcast from Thalia had awakened them. On the Queen's ship. Zalith turned to Darren. I have something for you, she said. She handed him a black box. Inside was a small device. This is a code breaker, she explained. It can override the rebel controls. Our satellites, our defense systems even, our palace cannons. With it, we can take back the sky. Darren looked at the device. Where do I plug it in? The central tower, Thelia said. It controls all city systems. Zalith nodded. But it's in enemy hands now. I'll go, Darren. Said you'll die, Zalith warned. He smiled. Maybe, but I've come this far. Thelia stepped forward. I'm going to. No, Zalith said quickly. You are the heir, and this is my fight, Thelia said firmly. I stay behind while others bleed. I am not fit to rule. Zalith looked into her daughter's eyes and then stepped aside. Very well, go, and may the stars protect you. The Queen's small attack ship flew low through smoke and fire. Darren sat beside Thalia, checking the code breaker. His fingers moved fast, making adjustments. Are you scared? She asked. Terrified, he replied. But that's normal for humans. She gave a small smile. I think I'm starting to like your kind. Darren looked at her. You're not so bad yourself. Their ship landed behind the central tower. The building was tall and wide, shaped like a spiral shell. Vernex machines patrolled the gates. Need to move fast, Darren said. Once I connect the device, it'll take 2 minutes to unlock the systems. Then we fight for 2 minutes, Thelia said. They rushed toward the tower. Blaster fire lit the air. Thelia moved quickly, her body faster than any guard expected. She took down 2 Vernex machines with a stolen blade. Darren reached the base of the tower and found the control panel. I was cracked, but working. Need time? He shouted. Thelia blocked a shot with her arm guard. You have it. More enemies came. Thalkar rebels screamed as they charged. But then strange sounds filled the sky. Drums, voices. The Queen's ground army had arrived. Loyal Thalkar warriors stormed the plaza surrounding the tower. The rebels were caught by surprise. Hold. The line. Someone yelled. Thelia saw her people charging, waving her banner. She stood tall on the stairs and shouted, I am Thelia, heir of Yellary. I do not hide anymore. Stand with me. The warriors roared in answer. Inside, Darren worked fast. Sparks flew as he forced wires together. Come on, just a little more. The codebreaker activated. A green light blinked. Got it. Pressed the final button and, across the city, lights began to change. Defense systems reactivated. Shield towers rose from the ground. Rebel weapons shut down one by one. Inside rebel ships, alarms rang. System failure. External override detected. Kelthar saw it all from his command room. His face turned dark. Who did this? The human, said one of his guards. And the princess. Kelthar clenched his fists. Then it's time. Prepare the final weapon. Back at the tower, Darren stepped outside. Delia ran to him. You did it, she said. Kind of, he said. Now, let's not get shot. But the celebration was short. A huge shadow covered the sky. From above, a massive ship appeared twice the size of the Queen's palace. It was shaped like a black dagger. Lights blinked across its surface. Thelia looked up. What is that? Darren's face went pale. That's not a rebel ship, it's Vernex. What? Ship opened its lower bay. A giant cannon appeared, humming with energy. Zaleth's voice came through the radio. The cannon is charging. If it fires, our capital is gone. Thelia turned to Darren. Is there any way to stop it? So I need access to the ships? Mainframe, but it's in orbit. We can't reach it. Zaleth's voice came again. Maybe one way. Back on the Queen's command ship, Zaleth made a decision. She removed her crown and handed it to her second-in-command. Protect the Leia, she said. I must go. She walked to the flight deck and entered a small Fighter-An Ancient Royal class. Vesseldar voice came through all channels. I am Queen Zeleth of Yulari. I will not let my world burn. The ship launched like lightning. Talia stared at the screen as her mother's ship raced toward the Vernex cannon. Mother. No, Darren looked at her. She knows what she's doing. In space, the Queen's fighter dodged laser fire and debris. The Vernex ship prepared to fire. Inside her small cockpit, Zaleth smiled. Goodbye, my daughter. She flew straight into the cannon's core. A massive explosion shook the sky. Light spread across the horizon. The Vernex ship split apart, pieces falling like meteors below. The rebels watched in horror. Thelia dropped to her knees, tears running down her face. She's gone. Darren placed a hand on her shoulder. She gave you the future. The battle below ended quickly. With the Vernex ship destroyed and systems disabled, the rebels lost their advantage. Many surrendered. Some fled. Kelthar tried to escape, but Thelia found him near the palace gates. He was wounded, but still proud. You can kill me, he said, but you'll never be one of us. Thelia stood over him. Her eyes were strong. I am not one. Of you, she said. I am better. She turned away. I will not rule with hate, Kelthar growled, but said nothing more. Later that night, the fire stopped. The city was quiet. In the palace, Thelia stood before her people. She wore no crown, only a simple robe. Her voice was clear. My mother is gone, but her light is not. She raised her hand. Today we begin again, Thalkar and human, past and future, as one. The crowd cheered. Darren stood beside her, silent. She looked at him. You should stay. I don't belong here, he said. You do now, she replied. This is your home too.